Hey guys, Scott here. I've been playing Dead by Daylight for almost 9 years now, which is a thing that is happening in my life. And we are getting Springtrap from Five Nights at Freddy's on Tuesday. And the gameplay of Springtrap, I'm really excited for. I thought he was really fun to play. And I think the actual control room and all that stuff was really cool. The problem is I didn't know anything about Springtrap. I didn't know anything about Five Nights at Freddy's, which is weird because I was very big into the whole 2011 to 2014 YouTube horror scene. In fact, the entire reason I'm a content creator is due to a butterfly effect of me creating a popular Amnesia the Dark Descent custom mod that a lot of popular YouTubers played that got my name out there. So the fact that I wasn't really even aware of Five Nights at Freddy's, like I knew it existed, but I knew nothing about it and I never desired to really learn about it. Cut until right now in 2025, we're getting this content in Dead by Daylight, and I figured I would at least try to understand, roughly what's going on with the IP. So I decided to start with playing the very first game and then watching lore videos and stuff like that to try to figure out what the hell is going on. So my experience with the first game, I played it for about an hour and a half, and there were a lot of really entertaining moments in it. Honestly, I think the funniest part about it was my chat was trolling me using text-to-speech to voice the animatronics. So, like, Bonnie would show up on the left side, and then there'd be that stupid voice as I open the door and Bonnie's there just going, "Let me in."
Let me in.
Fuck off. Okay, the timing there.
Let him in. He's asking so nicely. Just let him in.
It was just the funniest shit. So I very much enjoyed that. But after playing for an hour and a half, I got through night 3. I was kind of like, okay, the game is just, you just click buttons and look. It's really not that great in terms of actual gameplay, at least the first game. Now I can definitely respect in like 2014, I think when this came out, this was basically the YouTube horror bait. This is the perfect game for that exact point in YouTube's history when you would want to watch your favorite YouTubers play a game like this. It is literally built for that to perfection. So I can really see where a lot of the love for it came from. I'm just saying it now as a modern player in 2025. Yeah, the gameplay is pretty dull. You just click some buttons, look at some cameras. It's very basic. Occasionally, you get jump scared. So the gameplay itself, like I said, was really nothing to, sing home about. And I've heard during the later games, it gets a lot more in depth, a lot more interesting and stuff, and that's cool. But I was really more interested in the actual story and the lore behind all of this. And I usually don't care about that stuff, but Five Nights at Freddy's has such an insanely devoted fan base. And I feel like that doesn't really happen unless you've got something going on there. And I wanted to try to figure out where that was coming from. So I started watching lore videos. Now, the drama started before I even picked a video to watch. Because, if you watch MatPat's video, he just makes a bunch of shit up. It's headcanon. But, no, this guy's more right. Oh, but this guy's actually making shit up about this section, too. People are ravenous about this shit because apparently the story is told more like Dark Souls, where it's not like an explicit narrative given to you. It's just you piece things together and kind of figure things out from pictures and descriptions, again, much like Dark Souls. So you kind of have to make up your own ideas of what's happening. You can take educated guesses based on, what's happening in the context and stuff like that, but you are kind of guessing a lot of portions of the story. And so people were really, really mad. Like, I just got a message on Twitter last night about a guy pissed at me and he unsubbed to me because I guess picked the wrong video with 7 million views to watch. Like, how the fuck would I know, man? I don't know anything. Like, it's so mean. But anyway, I went through and watched an hour-long documentary about it. It had incredible editing, by the way. Super good video. I'll link it in the description. The rest of this video will be me watching and struggling to comprehend 11 years of lore in 1 hour, basically. But before I set the video to that, I thought it would be a treat to try to basically summarize the entire plot of Five Nights at Freddy's based on my 1.5 hours of gameplay of the first game and watching a single 1 hour lore video. Clearly, I'm the most equipped to handle this, so let's go. The entire plot of Five Nights at Freddy's, as told by a DVD player that knows nothing about this series. William Afton and Henry something found a pizzeria, and Henry is kind of like an engineer, and he makes these animatronic suits that dance on the stage, but they also have something called the spring lock system, where a human performer can go inside of it, I assume, to be able to have more like human-like movements when they're interacting with the kids. Instead of being like all robotic, you can actually like be a smooth-moving human. So that's kind of cool. I immediately did not know that. That's really neat. That explains Springtrap, the whole corpse inside of it and stuff like that in DBD. So that was cool, immediately making that connection there. Now, William is more along the lines of the business entrepreneur money guy. That's really the main thing that he cares about. So they make this pizzeria, and everything's going fine. William has two kids. No, he has three kids. He has Michael and then another kid known as the crying child, colloquially, I guess. He's never actually named. Michael at one point is trolling his, I guess, little brother, and that's the crying child. And he basically shoves him in front of the animatronic. One of them, I forget which one. Animatronic bites the crying child, kills him. This was known as, I think, the bite of 83, not 87. And that causes the spirit of the crying child to infuse with that animatronic, which is obviously bad. For some reason, like, I think like the pizzeria shuts down with them. There's a recurring theme where kids get murdered, the place shuts down, and then they just open a new location because I guess no one gives a fuck. This happens like 50 times. So that's interesting. Another similar thing happens again with a security bot and a little girl who I forget what her name is. But basically, the little girl dies, and then her spirit infuses the security bot. And then eventually, William Afton notices changes on the security bot and realizes that this little girl is infused with this system. And then he starts realizing, oh shit, there's little kid spirits inside these things. Maybe I can somehow harness this power and try to, achieve immortality, blah, 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 blah. So William is basically an asshole. He barely even gives a shit that one of his sons dies. He's a piece of shit. So I forget the order, but at some point he makes like a Resident Evil 2 style underground lab where he tries to lure kids to basically force them into the animatronics to see if the same thing happens, if the whole, spirit synergy thing happens again. And he eventually figures out like how to actually do this, and he creates a whole new set of spirit infused animatronics. There's like this also the sister location with like these girl bots that also basically trick kids into coming near them, and then they open their stomach opens up and they grab the kids and then they stick them in their stomach and the kids die, and then they do the spirit thing that way. It's crazy shit's happening. It's already getting unhinged. At some point, then William decides to like melt them all down into like this mercury like metal called remnant, and then he injects the remnant into other things that don't have bloodstream. So I don't even know if that makes sense. You're just sticking it in the metal. And then those things he basically has like a portable spirit injector. Also, at some point, Michael dies. I forget how. Michael dies. Oh, wait, no, because there's like an amalgamation animatronic of like all the kids, and it tries to escape via Michael. So it enters Michael. Michael leaves, but then Michael's body can't hold the combination thing. So the combination thing face huggers out of him. And then Michael is still living somehow, but he's like a fucking zombie or something. He's like a purple zombie. And the purple zombie, this is another part that makes no sense. He keeps getting hired. This motherfucker's out here with like master's degrees struggling to find work. There's literally an undead purple zombie walking around getting hired for security jobs multiple times, by the way. Is this a plot hole? I feel like I was taking crazy pills when I kept hearing about this purple zombie that keeps getting jobs. How the fuck does he keep getting jobs? He says, okay, anyway, so then at some point, some other shit happens, and then Henry, the original partner of William Afton, decides to build another... Oh, wait, no, before that happens, during his experiments, William Afton is basically cornered by the animatronic spirits, and for some reason enters the Springtrap suit. I still don't understand why. If he was scared... Well, he wasn't scared. He was killing them before, so he wasn't scared of them. Maybe he was trying to scare them. Either way, he goes to the Springtrap suit. It spring locks. He dies. Now he's a spirit in the Springtrap. And thus, there he is in DBD. Wow, we finally got the connection after this entire time. So then he gets stuck in there, and then Henry, the original partner, decides to lure them all back by building yet another pizzeria. I don't know how the fuck they keep getting away with this. They get them all together, and then they burn the place down, but not before giving all the kids' spirits happy memories so they can move on. They all move on. They're great, except Springtrap, who is not allowed to move on because Cassidy, who I forgot about, won't let him move on, and then he is shoved into his own personal hell where he has to play Five Nights at Freddy's again, except it's like the Zoomer ADHD Unk version, where it's like 50,000 things happening. I had a seizure watching that gameplay. And then I think there's more, but my brain, I watched this yesterday and it's a haze. So Jesus Christ. Yeah, so the rest of this video will be me just trying to piece this shit together. I have a headache again. Thank you for watching.
All back, all of them, together in one place.
I optimized the fun out of it. I'm sorry. It's what I do
Five
with
Nights
games.
at Freddy's is a franchise with over a decade's worth of content, spanning countless games, books, and now a movie. There's a reason that no matter whose timeline you watch, they all look different. Making a FNAF timeline is not easy. There are so many ways you can interpret
Other games
the
have more
story,
going on for
and
sure.
This
I figured.
is mine. So let's start at the beginning. Back in the 70s, a company called Fazbear Entertainment got its start by creating different props and mascot costumes for carnivals, and specifically for something called the Fall Fest. The Fall Fest featured various mascot characters, such as a bird, an elephant, and the most popular of all, Fredbear and Bonnie.
Link the video? Oh, yeah, of course. Hold on a second. We'll link the one that I'm currently watching. This seems really well made so far.
Game because the lure is by clicking on secret stuff and getting secret minigames.
Ooh, I do love that kind of thing. And that's the game Springtrap is in too, right? I'm not saying I'm not going to play it. I'm more interested in like the lore and stuff like that than the actual
mascot
gameplay
costumes
itself.
were so popular, Fazbear Entertainment opened a dedicated restaurant for them called Fredbear's Family Diner, featuring the same Fredbear and Bonnie mascot costumes from the Fall Fest. What Fazbear Entertainment didn't account for, though, was one of their animatronics from the Fall Fest going rogue.
Dude, this editing is crazy.
Ending in a giant fire. With most of everything from
Can someone tell me, was this stuff from a game, or did they just make this for the video? Because this is fucking cool. This is like, holy shit.
the Fall Fest being destroyed.
They just made this. Holy shit. Oh my god. This editing is unreal. Holy shit. It's like a fucking hens video. That community has tons of amazing animators. I can tell. Like, holy shit, this is so cool. Hey, Divine, thank you for the 74 months. Appreciate it. I should edit my vids like this.
The specifics about the animatronic that went rogue and the fire are unknown and will likely be revealed next year in FNAF's next big release. Although we don't know much about how this fire occurred, we do know that after the fire, Fazbear Entertainment...
I'm going to stop and ask questions a lot, and hopefully that's not annoying, because I actually really want to understand this. Is Scott still making FNAF games, or are these, like, fan games? I assume these are just not made by him anymore, because I checked his games and like they stopped, he stopped making games like a while ago, it says. So he handed it making it. Okay, gotcha, thank you.
Started phasing out of the mascot costume era. They needed something new. The two men who helped found Fazbear Entertainment, William Afton and Henry Emily, stepped up to the plate. William Afton was mostly the businessman of the two, handling all of the money, while Henry was the more creative one, with him being in charge of building most of the animatronics
These are the people that
and
built the
props
pizzeria,
for the
right?
company. With the Fall Fest
and
era of the company coming to a close, they were only left with Fredbear's Family Diner, the standalone restaurant created for the Fredbear and Bonnie characters. In order to replace the mascot versions of Fredbear and Bonnie, Henry went to work on new versions of the characters, eventually creating the new Fredbear and Spring Bonnie. The same character...
Again, sorry, I'm going to pause a lot and ask questions because I want to understand it. The first game, did the first game actually have, like, lore in it, or did this start to develop as he kept making games? I want to, like, know, was it retroactively added, or was it something planned from the start? Because it seems like this is more of a retroactively added thing. But that's just what I'm guessing. It was a little bit of lore, but it wasn't very developed. So, okay, so it was kind of like once it started taking off, he started building a whole world around it, rather than him having like all this stuff pre-planned and then making a game for it, which makes perfect sense.
but with new designs and new suits. Henry called them Springlock suits. These suits are able to double as both an animatronic and a suit that the employees could wear.
They did
switch
mention
the suit
that
from
in the first
animatronic
game.
mode to suit mode, the employees could use a hand crank to pull back the animatronic parts, leaving room for them to climb inside. The spring locks that were helping to hold back those animatronic parts were very sensitive.
I mean, I
and
kind of
with
want to know
even
the
a little
whole,
bit of
the whole
moisture, the
spiel.
spring locks
I'm
could
not gonna play all the
potentially
games,
snap
so.
shut, crushing and killing whoever was inside. But if that ended up happening, Fazbear
that's cool.
Entertainment had some common sense procedures set in place.
In the case that the spring locks come loose while you are wearing a suit, please try to maneuver away from populated areas before bleeding out, as to not ruin the customer experience.
Fredbear's Family Diner ended up being super successful for William and Henry, so much so that other companies tried replicating it. Another company proceeded to rip off Fazbear Entertainment's old mascot characters by creating their own animatronic versions of them. The leader of the group was Ned Bear, a direct copy of Fredbear, followed by a hippo, an elephant, and a frog. All characters from the Fall Fest, and all with slightly different designs to avoid copyright issues. But while the rival company was able to replicate the designs, they could not replicate Henry's state-of-the-art technology. Their robots were poorly made and had to have giant batteries with exposed wires on stage with them. Naturally, the rival
Okay,
company...
so the guys that made this, they made so they're not regular animatronics. They're basically, they can work autonomously, but also humans can enter it. For what reason? Is it like the battery died or something? Like, what would be the point of doing that? Doing more complex tasks. Okay, so like it's an actual actor as opposed to like it's more like an actual human doing fluid movements, I guess. Okay. That makes sense, I guess.
He failed and ended up being bought out by Fazbear Entertainment. With all of the success from Fredbear's Family Diner, William and Henry decided to branch out and create more characters for a new restaurant. In 1983, William and Henry opened Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, featuring Freddy Fazbear, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. With the opening of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza,
Wait.
Fazbear Entertainment was
Bonnie
experiencing success like they've never seen before. But with
Bonnie's
two
the one on the
restaurants
left.
now open at the same time, more
Foxy
success also meant more
was the one
work
behind the
for
curtain.
William and
Who
Henry.
was Chica?
The
I don't
duo
think I
were
saw Chica,
so
did I?
wrapped up in work that they started neglecting their own families. William was the father of 3 kids. The eldest,
Okay,
Michael,
I'm sure it's going to reveal it later, but why is William Afton always depicted as this? Like, what is this? Is this something I should know by now? Okay.
Crying Child, and Elizabeth.
He's
The
purple
Crying
guy?
Child has yet to have a 100% confirmed name, so for this video, he will just be called the Crying Child. Meanwhile, Henry had one kid, a daughter named Charlie. The business partners spent most of their days working, so they both created different ways of taking care of their kids. Henry was the robotics genius, so he used his talents to create a new animatronic to watch Charlie for him. It was called the Security Puppet. This animatronic would sit by the
This is
door
so
of Freddy
in-depth.
Fazbear's Pizza and make sure that Charlie wasn't able to leave the building. This made it so Charlie could play at the restaurant while Henry worked, without Henry having to worry about her leaving the building or getting kidnapped. The robot was linked directly to a green bracelet that Charlie was wearing. If Charlie, wearing the green bracelet, tried leaving the building, the security puppet would spring into action. William, on the other hand, was the
That's fucked up.
businessman of the company. He cared more about making money, but also saving money. Naturally, he decided to just force his eldest son Michael to babysit while he was at work. Michael was mostly in charge of babysitting the Crying Child. The Crying Child didn't have many friends, but he did have a close relationship with his plushies. These plushies were of characters from his favorite show, Fredbear and Friends, Fazbear Entertainment's newest cartoon, featuring Fredbear, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. The Crying Child's favorite character, though, was Fredbear. He especially loved his Fredbear plushie. Although he loved the plushie version of the characters, the animatronics would soon become a different story. One day, while visiting
You can't imagine learning a lore once rather than over the course of 10 years. Yeah, that's why I said I'm going to stop and ask a lot of questions. This is this person's interpretation of the story. It's not confirmed lore. Oh, is that true? This is not like it's not like a guaranteed written thing. It's just more of like a Dark Souls style, like environmental clues type thing. I think that's kind of neater for these types of, like, you know, Vadi Vidya type things, because it's open for interpretation and no one is technically wrong or right. It makes it more interesting to talk about, I think.
Fredbear's Family Diner, the crying child saw something that would scar him for the rest of his life. While wandering the restaurant, he walked by the employees only room, where an employee accidentally left the door open. Inside the room was his father, William Afton, helping another employee into a spring Bonnie suit. But through the eyes of the crying child, this looked like someone was literally being stuffed into an animatronic suit. The crying child was so young that he wasn't educated on how the mascot characters worked, so seeing a human be put inside of one terrified him. When a child experiences something traumatic, their brain naturally tries finding ways to deal with that trauma. The crying child's way of dealing with his trauma was by creating an imaginary friend. This imaginary friend took the form of the object he loved the most, his Fredbear plushie. His new imaginary friend Fredbear followed him wherever he went, shape-shifting into flowers, hiding behind cars and in the sewers, with nobody being able to see him except for the crying child. When the crying child was overwhelmed, the plushie would talk to him and try to calm him down. I'm
sorry, was the crying child William Afton's kid or his partner? This is gonna be hard keeping track of everything. It was Williams. Okay.
Plushie wasn't around, it was still able to speak to him.
Hold on, I'm actually gonna pull up fucking notepad here and just like, hold on. There we go. I'll type it in Discord. Okay. What?
It lived in his mind. While the crying child was dealing with the trauma of seeing what he thinks was someone being stuffed into a suit, his brother Michael was only making it worse. Michael knew about what happened with his younger brother and used it against him. Every day while babysitting the crying child, Michael would put on a foxy mask, hide somewhere in the house, and jump scare his little brother.
What the fuck? So this is fan-made animation? I'm led to believe. That's fucking crazy. That's better than the game.
From the pizzeria to your living room, you no longer have to wait to sing and dance with Fredbear and Friends. Weeknights at 8/7 Central, only on...
That's also a fan-made? Dude, that's crazy. This is fucking creepy. FNAF fans are good at apparently, man. That's talent. Back to that pod. So this is first-person view of the crying child, right?
Through all of Michael's bullying, the crying child's imaginary friend
is that
Fredbear
from the game
would
and they put
comfort
it into
him
oh,
and talk
so
him
cool.
through the situation, saying, "You know he is hiding again. Be careful. Tomorrow is another day." Michael wasn't the only one bullying the crying child, though. The local kids in the neighborhood heard about why the crying child was so scared of the pizzeria, even making up fake rumors related to what the crying child thought he saw there. "You'd better watch out. I hear they come to life at night. And if you die, they hide your body and never tell anyone." But all of this bullying would come to a head on one special day, the crying child's birthday. Ironically, his birthday party was being held at Fredbear's Family Diner. Because he was so terrified of being at the pizzeria, he hid under the table, not knowing that Michael and his friends were nearby, planning a prank that would go terribly wrong.
I'm sorry, who is Michael again? Is Michael the partner? Or the other kid from the partner? Michael's the older brother. Oh, so they're both William Afton's kids. Michael and Crying Child. Wait, so why does Crying Child not have a name? Michael gets named, but poor Crying Child doesn't? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm making a family tree here. William Afton. Okay. Because fuck you, okay.
Make sure you grab your pizza. Fredbear and Spring Bonnie will be performing in 5 minutes.
Dude, this quality is amazing. Oh my god, it's a DBD map. Which one was that? Oh, cool.
Michael and his friends lifted the crying child up to, quote, give Fredbear a big kiss, and Fredbear bit down on him, leaving his body to go limp. Michael and his friends quickly stopped laughing. Because of Michael's immature behavior, his terrified younger brother paid the ultimate price. Although the crying child was badly hurt, he didn't immediately die. Because of the immense brain damage, he slipped into a coma. After being treated at a hospital, the crying child was taken home so he could be comfortable, surrounded by his only friends, his plushies. In the crying child's final moments, Michael decides to apologize for what he's done, saying, "Can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me. I'm sorry." After Michael speaks, the crying child's imaginary friend Fredbear, created out of the trauma he experienced, continues doing what it's done the whole time. It comforts him, saying, "You're broken. We are still your friends. Do you still believe that? I'm still here. I will put you back together." This would be the final thing the crying child hears before he dies. The crying child's spirit would then live on in the Fredbear suit, the thing that took his life. The crying child's death wasn't just an accident. It was directly caused by Michael's recklessness. This is something that Michael could potentially face jail time for, so it needed to be covered up. Since the crying child was being kept at home, no one else knew that he ended up passing away. So William and Michael ended up burying the crying child's body in the middle of the woods where no one would find him. No tombstone, no flowers, just a pile of dirt.
What is wrong with the people in this
and
lore?
A lifetime's worth of guilt that Michael would have to live with. Shortly after the incident, Fredbear's family diner was quickly shut down, and Fredbear was completely wiped from existence. The Fredbear and Friends TV show turned into Freddy and Friends on tour. The Fredbear and Spring Bonnie Springlock suits also ended up being moved into the back room of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, mainly being used as spare suits if one of the Freddy's animatronics broke down. The death of William...
Okay, so Fredbear contains the spirit of crying child who died because Michael put his face next to his jaws, right?
Afton's youngest son was a pivotal moment in this story, specifically William Afton's story. This
is that
was
what the bite of 87 is?
Oh, okay. Fall. A father losing his son is a traumatic situation, and while any other father would take time to grieve, be sad, and properly deal with such a big loss, William Afton took a different route. Afton definitely was upset about his son dying, but it wasn't because he felt bad for his son, it was because it was embarrassing to him. William Afton was a narcissist. He had little to no empathy. All he cared about was work and comparing himself to...
Does William Afton have a wife? Is his partner in the lore in any way? Because who the fuck would marry this guy? He seems like such a piece of shit. Like, what? He did have a wife, but we know nothing about her. Well, the makes a lot of sense. I wonder if, like, he changed? Because, like, whatever.
His business partner, Henry. Henry had a wife, a kid, and a talent for robotics that Afton was utterly jealous of. The death of the crying child sent Afton over the edge because while Henry's family was still perfect, his was now broken. Henry and William had different ways of taking care of their kids, and while Afton employing his eldest son failed, Henry's security puppet succeeded. Henry's daughter, Charlie, lived on. Afton had a hard time dealing with this feeling of embarrassment. He started becoming an alcoholic, frequently visiting the local bar called Junior's. One night though, after drinking a little too much and getting kicked out of the bar, he decided that he was going to settle the score with Henry. Afton, drunk and filled with rage, drove from the bar to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, where he knew Charlie was being watched over by Henry's security puppet. Afton planned on risking everything to kill Henry's daughter.
Wait, I thought they shut it down. Why would he be there? Hey, Kajay, thank you for this. I appreciate that. Can somebody explain that? I thought they shut it down. Why would he find... Oh, okay. There's multiple locations. Okay. That makes sense. It's a franchise, yeah, okay.
Charlie. He didn't care if he got caught, and he didn't care if he went to prison. But when Afton got to Freddy's, he noticed that Charlie was standing outside by herself.
Thank
It
you, Andrew.
turned
Thank you,
out
Lo-Fi.
that some bullies were able to trap the security puppet in its box and lock Charlie outside the building, giving Afton the perfect opportunity to kill Charlie outside of the pizzeria. The security puppet was eventually able to escape its box and went looking for Charlie. As Afton sped away, the puppet noticed that Charlie was outside in the pouring rain. It then did what it was programmed to do and went to protect her.
Did that motherfucker just float?
But as the puppet got closer to Charlie's body, the rain started making it short circuit. It was forced to crawl its way over to her until the rain got to be too much, and the puppet shut down right next to Charlie's body. While Charlie and the puppet lay lifeless next to each other, Afton was speeding home, driving right past where he buried his son and the bar he got kicked out of. When Afton got home, he was met with his wife sitting in the living room watching TV, and Michael in his bedroom. Afton was a drunk and abusive father, and fully blamed Michael for what happened to his youngest son. Mrs. Afton tells him to leave Michael alone because he's had a tough day, but Afton
So they're still
doesn't
together?
listen. He goes over to Michael's room and pounds on the door, only for the door to be locked. He then makes his way around the house to try and find a way in from the outside. But once he gets to Michael's bedroom window, he notices that it's broken, and Michael
part is super
gone.
contentious?
Michael was
Okay.
so upset by what he did to his brother that he would sometimes see visions of Fredbear appear and disappear. Tonight, Fredbear appeared outside his bedroom window, and it almost felt like his brother was calling out to him from beyond the grave. This would happen frequently, and every time it did, Michael would run to the spot where they buried his younger brother, only to find that nothing had changed. His younger brother was still gone and buried in the ground. Afton knew Michael did this often, saying, "Ran off to that place again. He will be sorry when he gets back." The guilt of killing his younger brother haunted Michael in his real life, but also in his dreams. Michael would constantly have nightmares about the animatronic that took his brother's life.
Is there a reason that he's always wearing... Is this Foxy? I'm trying to, like, learn the names of all of them. Is there a reason he's always wearing that mask? Or is it just happens to be one of his favorite? No? Oh. It looks like a fox. It's just an actual... It's the only actual render of him. It's just his favorite mask. Okay. It is Foxy. Oh. He just likes Foxy. Okay.
These were the exact same nightmares his younger brother used to have every night, now passed on to him.
Used to have significance until it was retconned? This is inaccurate? Well, I feel like most of it is... Well, not most of it, but a lot of it really is just stuff for interpretation, so... It's not accurate or inaccurate, it's just... It's not clear regardless. So it's fine. Hey, man. Oh my god, what is going on with his... Why does he have a double jaw? I don't like that at all. No, sir. No, siree. That's FNAF 4? Damn. That's a creepy design. The jaw inside the jaw. I never like that. It always makes me like, ugh. Hey guys, thank you for the 8 months.
After the death of Charlie, Fazbear Entertainment tried their best at covering it up. Fortunately for them and for William, the crime was committed
It can go anywhere.
After realizing the security puppet may be possessed by the spirit of Charlie, Afton went back and looked at
So in that back room now, there is the security bot with the spirit of Charlie, the Fredbear bot with the spirit of the crying child, and they're both next to each other, which is ironic. Okay.
Crying Child's Fredbear plushie, only to find that it also seemed to be haunted. The Crying Child feared for his life every single day, and that plushie was something he was able to cry and pour his agony into. Afton believed that this is what caused the plushie to appear haunted. It wasn't made alive by the spirit of his son, it was made alive by the agony and fear his son poured into it. Afton quickly became obsessed with the concept of haunted objects, and more specifically, the power of human emotion. He needed to find out if this is something he could take advantage of. Afton then used all of his money he made from Fredbear's and Freddy Fazbear's Pizza to build a giant underground facility directly under his house. It was here that he would try to recreate what happened with his son, to
Resident Evil
recreate
shit.
the fear and agony he experienced. In order to do this, Afton didn't take any chances. He needed to replicate exactly what his son went through every day. In order to do this, Afton built a replica of his house underground, along with his son's daily walk to Fredbear's family diner. He also built a makeshift bedroom where he could force kids to have the same nightmare every night. Afton would sit in his office watching them on the cameras that could be accessed using the passcode 1983, the year his son got bit. He also kept the Crying Child's Fredbear plushie on the desk as a reminder of what he was trying to replicate. In the makeshift bedroom, there were dummy animatronics that wheeled down the hallway.
This is excessive.
But the kids wouldn't see them as just blank dummies on wheels. Afton would pump hallucinogenic gas into the room to get the kids to think that what they were seeing was a monster.
What?
These nightmare gas canisters were being stored all throughout his underground facility. And on the bed of this makeshift bedroom was a Freddy plushie, in the hopes that the kids would pour their fear and agony into the plush, like his son did to his plushie. On the other side of the bunker, where Afton recreated the Crying Child's walk to Fredbear's,
Okay, everything up until this point has been completely understandable classic horror tropes and stuff like that. Now we're getting into some psycho, like Metal Gear Solid levels of convolution. So this is getting a little weird.
placed a bunch of Fredbear plushies all over the place. These Fredbear plushies had walkie-talkies inside of them. This was Afton's way of recreating his son's imaginary friend that would talk to him wherever he went. Afton would speak to the kids through his walkie-talkie sitting in his private office. After setting up the bunker, Afton was only missing one more thing: the kids to run these experiments on. He needed a way to kidnap and capture kids without
Okay, so William Afton wants to kidnap and capture kids in this sort of replica environment in order to see the effects of the emotion that they have related to the animatronics or something? Is he trying to see, like, he's trying to unravel the mystery of how, like, the security puppet, like, seemingly was haunted. He wants to make, like, spirit puppets, basically. All right, sure. Why not?
And he had the perfect way to do it.
The show will begin momentarily. Everyone, please stay in your seats.
Enter Circus Baby and the Funtime animatronics. These robots were specifically built by Afton to capture kids, featuring Circus Baby, Funtime Freddy, Funtime Foxy, and Ballora. They feature advanced technology such as parental tracking, voice mimicking / luring, and storage tanks. Circus Baby, the star of the group, was even able to make ice cream as a way to lure kids to her. Once the kid got too close, a giant claw would reach out, grab them, and lock them in the animatronics storage tank. Some of the board members from Fazbear Entertainment were suspicious of these new animatronics.
She can dance. She can sing. She's equipped with a built-in helium tank for inflating balloons right at her fingertips. She can take song requests. She can even dispense ice cream.
With all due respect, those aren't the design choices we were curious about, Mr. Afton.
Afton even created a new restaurant for these animatronics called Circus Baby's Pizza World. Elizabeth, William Afton's daughter, was fascinated by Circus Baby. All she wanted to do was play with her, but Afton wouldn't let her.
Daddy, why won't you let me play with her? We let the other children go see her.
And she's British?
Why won't you let me go?
He strictly told her to stay away from the animatronic, but one day, she didn't listen. On the opening day of Circus Baby's Pizza World, another domino would fall in Afton's life, and Elizabeth would soon be the victim of his terrible misdeeds.
I can do something special. Did you know that? I can make ice cream, although I only did it once. What a wonderful day, though. I was in a small room with balloons and a few tables. I would always count the children. I'm not sure why. They usually played together in groups of 2 or 3. There were 4, then 3, then 2, then 1.
Hear me out. What is wrong with you?
Time to play.
My God, the graphics of these demos are getting better as the video goes on, too. There's fucking specular bloom on that floor.
Ice cream.
How would you fit in there?
Something happened when there was 1. I was no longer myself. There was screaming for a moment.
These things are like
but
8
only
feet tall?
for a moment.
In an instant, Elizabeth was grabbed by Circus Baby and thrown into her stomach hatch. The sheer force of her being grabbed and thrown into the robot's storage tank was enough to kill her almost instantly. This is
fair.
something that William wasn't able to test. That
Okay.
was until his daughter became the test. William Afton now lost another one of his kids, but this time it was all his fault. After just one day of being open, Circus Baby's Pizza World was shut down. Afton covered up the incident by telling the public that the restaurant shut down due to gas leaks. But not everyone bought that story. The local newspaper wrote about the incident, saying, in other news, the grand opening of Circus Baby's Pizza World has apparently been canceled due to reported gas leaks in the building. Sources close to the establishment questioned the report, saying that strange activity around the area at night suggests something else is to blame. One local is quoted as saying, everything just stopped. There was so much excitement built around this place opening, and then they just stopped talking about it. A tenant from across the street claims to have witnessed a large group of cars surrounding the building during the night, and large pieces of equipment being taken out of the building under tarps. A few weeks later, the building was for sale. There is no comment yet from the local entrepreneur who financed the venture. That local entrepreneur, William Afton, successfully covered up everything. He was able to bring Circus Baby and the Funtime animatronics back down into his bunker, but once he got them there, he noticed something was different about Circus Baby. One distinct feature about Circus Baby was her blue eyes, but what once was blue eyes now were green, the same color as Elizabeth's. In that moment, he knew that his daughter's soul attached itself to the robot. Her soul lived on in Circus Baby. Afton knew that the way Charlie went on to possess the puppet was sloppy, and it was hard to recreate without getting caught. But what if the kids' bodies were hidden where no one would ever look? What if, just like his daughter, their bodies were stuffed into the animatronics? For Afton, Elizabeth's death quickly went from just another inconvenience to a scientific breakthrough. Afton was one step closer to harnessing the power of life itself. But one successful experiment wasn't enough. Just like the fear experiments he built in the bunker, he needed to replicate exactly what happened. He needed to recreate the accident, and he knew exactly how he was going to do it. Using the Funtime animatronics again wasn't an option.
Wouldn't people not smell the blood and organs of the robot?
Shut down, and the
Depends how
public was
airtight it is.
already getting too suspicious of the animatronics. But he didn't need the Funtime animatronics. He was going to run the experiment himself. On June 26, 1985, William Afton made his way to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. There, he would put on the old Spring Bonnie suit from Fredbear's to lure 5 kids into the back room.
Took a swim with my new friend.
These graphics are better than the last time.
Didn't care, I jumped right.
Hello. Looking for a friend?
The water's clear, come swim with me.
Oh my God. It's him. John Springtrap.
One by one, Afton killed them and stuffed their bodies into the animatronics. Susie was first, being stuffed into Chica. Gabriel went into Freddy,
okay.
Jeremy into Bonnie, Fritz into Foxy, and then there was Cassidy, who went into Fredbear, aka Golden Freddy. At this point, Afton had no idea that the crying child spirit was in Golden Freddy, so he didn't think twice about shoving Cassidy in there. The way Afton killed Cassidy, though, was different from the rest. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy were just regular animatronics. Afton had no choice but to kill them, then stuff them into the suits. But Golden Freddy wasn't just a regular animatronic, it was a Springlock suit. The same Springlock suit that took his youngest son's life. Afton was aware of how dangerous the Springlocks were. Any bit of moisture or too much movement would cause them to snap shut, slowly killing whoever was inside. So that's exactly what he did to Cassidy. He put him into the suit and watched as the Springlocks snapped shut, cementing Cassidy's death as the most brutal of them all. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and Golden Freddy weren't the only animatronics sitting in the back room of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, though. They were joined by the security puppet, which contained the soul of Henry's daughter, Charlie. Once Afton was gone, Charlie jumped into action, almost
there's so
acting
many
as a
souls
guide
inside
for their
things.
souls, properly giving them life inside of each animatronic. After the incident, the kids were quickly reported missing by their families, and although the security cameras caught Afton luring the kids away, he wasn't able to fully get in trouble. Since he was wearing the Spring Bonnie suit, they were never able to prove it was actually him. Afton also hid the kids' bodies where no one would ever look, so the bodies were never found. Unbelievably, Afton was able to get away with yet another crime. Because of all the bad press that came from the missing children's incident, people stopped coming to the pizzeria. After months of customers no longer showing up, Fazbear Entertainment officially shut down
how is
Freddy
this shit still in
Fazbear's
business?
Pizza. Shortly after the pizzeria shut down, Afton decided to pull the Funtime animatronics out of retirement and finally get his underground facility fully operational. He knew he couldn't try opening another Circus Babies restaurant, so he had a new idea.
Due to the massive success and even more so the unfortunate closing of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, it was clear that the stage was set, no pun intended, for another contender in children's entertainment. Unlike most entertainment venues, our robotic entertainers are rented out for private parties during the day.
Afton opened Circus Babies Entertainment and Rental. This way, he could rent out the Funtime animatronics to local birthday parties, capture kids, and bring them back to his underground bunker to be experimented on. While Afton was running his rental business, Fazbear Entertainment was determined to try opening another. This seems like such a failed
business proposition. If you do a thing where you're rented out and go to people's parties and you steal the kids, after your very first event, they would go, oh, hey, our child is missing, and they would be shut down and investigated. Like, how would this ever work? What a terrible plan.
Pizzeria. In the summer of 1987, Fazbear Entertainment opened the new and improved Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, this time with brand new versions of their original characters. These were called the Toy Animatronics, and they were once again built by Henry. Henry was aware of what happened in 1985, and especially of what happened to his daughter, so he was determined to make sure that never happened again. These new toy animatronics were equipped with facial recognition systems that were linked directly to a criminal database. The security puppet was also brought out of retirement, but instead of working security, it sat quietly in the prize corner. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, Golden Freddy, and Spring Bonnie were also moved to the new pizzeria, and it's revealed that these animatronics were mostly used for spare parts.
By now, I'm sure you've noticed the older models sitting in the back room. Those are from the previous location, and we just use them for parts now. The idea at first was to repair them, but they were just so ugly, you know? And the smell.
This means that the haunted metal of the original Freddy's animatronics was now being put into the toy animatronics, causing the toys to also now be possessed. After Afton got away with the first set of murders, he needed to see if the kids' spirits were possessing the animatronics. In order to see for himself, Afton went back to work at the new pizzeria as a daytime security guard. While Afton was working the day shift, Jeremy Fitzgerald was working the night shift. Jeremy worked there for 5 nights, and unfortunately for him, because the kids possessing the animatronics were killed by an adult, they were extremely aggressive to any adult they encountered.
They interact with the kids just fine, but when they encounter an adult, they just stare.
Meanwhile, Afton decided to pull the same trick he did at the old Freddy's location, gaining 5 more victims.
Someone used one of the suits. We had a spare in the back, a yellow one. someone used it.
Afton used the Spring Bonnie suit to pull the same stunt again on 5 more kids. But as he was committing the murders, Charlie, from inside the puppet, was actively trying to save the kids. She tried enlisting the help of the other animatronics, but it was too late. Afton had already finished what he started. Not only that, him seeing the puppet and Freddy walking around the pizzeria trying to stop him was all the proof he needed that his experiments were successful. The kids he put into the original suits were haunting the animatronics. But there was one problem. Afton knew that the haunted metal of the endoskeletons was the key to everything, but the animatronics were trapped at the pizzeria. There was no way he could bring them back to his underground bunker. He couldn't get to the animatronics if the pizzeria was still open and active. So he needed to find a way to make sure the pizzeria shuts down, and fast. Instead of stuffing the new set of victims into the toy animatronics, he decided to leave the kids out in plain sight, scattered throughout the pizzeria. This was a guaranteed way to get the pizzeria shut down. A few hours after Afton committed the murders, Jeremy Fitzgerald showed up for his night shift, unaware of what happened that day.
Am I stupid? I thought it was already shut down. When did it reopen between then and now? It's a new location. How do they keep getting new locations? I thought the entire business went under. They said Fazbear's Entertainment entirely went under. Then he made a new service, which is like a rental service, but that wouldn't have a physical location because they go to other people's places. I'm so confused. It's like, how does this keep working? Whatever.
Hello, what on earth are you doing there? Didn't you get the memo? The place is closed down, at least for a while. Listen, just finish your shift. It's safer than trying to leave in the middle of the night.
Henry opened it out really, Afton. Yeah, but still, it's associated with this shit.
You'll be on day shift. Wear your uniform. Stay close to the animatronics and make sure they don't hurt anyone, okay?
The next day, during Jeremy's day shift, one of the animatronics bit him in the head. This was infamously known as the Bite of 87. Meanwhile, Afton successfully got the pizzeria shut down. The local newspaper wrote about the incident, saying, after being open only a few short weeks, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza is closing its doors. The new animatronics will be scrapped due to possible malfunctions. However, the original characters are being kept in hopes of a possible reorganization of the company. Since the toy animatronics were now being scrapped, he knew he could get away with taking their endoskeletons. But he also knew that he couldn't risk showing his face at the pizzeria again, so he got his oldest son Michael to do the work for him. William was easily able to get Michael to do whatever he wanted. William was abusive and manipulative, while Michael was haunted by the guilt of what he did to his younger brother. Because of this, Michael basically acted as William's puppet. Michael showed up for the night shift at the now closed Freddy Fazbear's Pizza under a code name, Fritz Smith. At the end of his shift,
William showed up. Okay, William showed up as security, and he named himself Fritz Smith. Did I just hear that part right? I'm scared to go back. Oh, okay, but Michael did. Okay, God. You're dropping a lot of information.
Successfully steal the toy animatronics endoskeletons for his father, causing him to get fired his first day on the job due to tampering with the animatronics. As it said in the local newspaper, while Fazbear Entertainment scrapped the toy animatronics, the original Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy were going to be fixed up and reused. And that's exactly what they did. After the 1987 Freddy's location shut down, they opened yet another location. This time using the exact same building as the first Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. As you can imagine, this didn't work out great for the business. People already...
How do they keep getting business? Thank you for the raid, sweetie. I'm going over the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's, and it is a thing.
Had a bad impression of Fazbear Entertainment, so using the same building that the original murders took place in didn't help business. Customers barely showed up to the new pizzeria, leading it to shut down by the end of 1993.
This company has opened and shut down 77 restaurants in a row. Who is funding this? Where is the resources from this? Like, how does this keep happening? The amount of times in this video they say they opened the new location and it was immediately shut down. Like, how does this keep happening?
Although this was bad news for Fazbear Entertainment, this was great news for William Afton. Afton was able to acquire the endos of the toy animatronics, but that wasn't enough. He needed all of the haunted endoskeletons, especially the ones in the original animatronics. Once the pizzeria shut down, Afton came up with the plan to steal the endos from the animatronics. Each pizzeria was designed with something called a safe room.
As always, if there is ever an emergency, please go to the designated safe room. Every location is built with one extra room that is not included in the digital map layouts programmed into the animatronics or security system. This room is hidden to customers, invisible to animatronics, and is always off camera.
This room was hidden from guests and invisible to the animatronics. Afton would use this to his advantage, luring each of the animatronics to the safe room and dismantling them one by one. The kids possessing these animatronics were the same kids he lured into the back room all those years ago. He planned to use the same trick to lure the same kids all over again.
Wait, in this room, do they not have... Are they not able to, like, attack? Does the room itself, for some reason, disable them or something? Because he said he lured them into the room and trapped them and then dismantled them. How was he able to dismantle them? They physically can't enter? But he said he dismantled them in that room, so how did he do that then? If they couldn't get into the room? He lures them to the door and then just beats them to death. William Afton is able to beat animatronic pure metal possessed spirit robots? The fuck? With the axe? I feel like... all right. They're kids? Yeah, but they're made of this, like, crazy technology, like, with these servos and, like... oh, whatever. Okay.
Hello, Scott and Chad. I read it was nice to this last week and just wanted to say thanks for being a great man in the chair and for being a fun community to be a part of while doing mail.
Oh, thank you, Booger. I appreciate that, man.
And then...
No. Okay. I like Foxy the most because Foxy is the anti-meta strat of just spamming the lights on the doors and not looking at the camera, so you go, Foxy. Yeah, I know he's gay. Everyone said he's gay 5 seconds in, as soon as he appeared. He-Man? Oh. Blurred William Afton?
Once he finished dismantling each animatronic and stealing their endoskeleton, he brought them down to his underground bunker, where he would melt them all down into one liquid substance called Remnant. Not only did Afton rob these kids of their lives, he would use their souls long after they're gone for his own personal gain.
Now it gets complicated? What the fuck does that mean? I'm already losing it, dude. Animation in cinema? Yeah, that's pretty good. That is the child from Mass Effect 3! Son of a bitch, you're right! It's the fucking... It's the catalyst or whatever. FNAF is the Souls-like. Okay, so he melted all of them down into one hunk of something called Remnant? Was it like one giant hunk of metal or something? Okay. So it's basically just a giant...
By melting down the endos, he successfully created Remnant. This substance, containing the spirits of all of the missing children, was silver in color, and if kept at the right temperature, was malleable. Afton didn't want to risk testing the Remnant on himself, so he injected it into the Funtime animatronics. Once he did, the animatronics jumped to life. The experiment had worked. William Afton unlocked the
Injected it into what? There's no bloodstream. It's just gonna go inside and then just fucking spill out.
power of life itself. After his successful experiment, he went back to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza to collect his old Spring Bonnie suit. But once he got there, he was met with the spirits of the 5 missing children, trapping him inside the safe room. Cassidy, the spirit inside Golden Freddy, chased Afton around the room and forced him to get into the Spring Bonnie suit. Cassidy was the most vengeful spirit of them all, being spring-locked.
Why did it force him to get into a Bonnie suit? What, wasn't he perfectly capable of killing them before? Why did he jump into a Bonnie suit? You'll see. Okay.
And the Fredbear suit was a...
Because now they're ghosts. Okay.
Painful and slow death, and he wanted to make sure that Afton knew what that felt like. At this point, Afton knew how a spirit could live on. As long as he was inside the suit, he knew he'd be back.
That kills him.
As Afton laughed, the spring locks snapped shut, forcing him to go through what Cassidy went through. This was an act of revenge by Cassidy, and it wouldn't be the last. Afton was now confined to the safe room of the now shut down Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, and because of this, everything in his underground bunker was left abandoned. But even with Afton gone, the rental business continued on its own. All of the Funtime animatronics containing the spirits of the missing children and even his daughter Elizabeth were still being rented out during the day and then brought right back down to the bunker. All the spirits wanted to do was escape, but they were always put back underground. After Afton went missing, his eldest son Michael, who's been blindly helping his father, remembered what his father told him if he ever went missing. If William wasn't there to finish his work, Michael would do it for him. Afton's underground facility was always off limits to Michael, but since he was now gone, Michael had no choice. He took the elevator down to where his father worked every day. Although Michael was helping out his father by stealing some of the endos from the animatronics back in the day, he never exactly knew what William was doing until he got down into the bunker.
I still don't understand why he went into the Bonnie. Did he intentionally want to be a permanent, like, spirit?
Over the several days he visited the bunker, he learned more about what his father was up to. He learned about the massive facility his father built, complete with multiple rooms conducting fear experiments.
I mean, people in chat are arguing, no, he was just scared, but it backfired. He wanted to scare them. If he died outside the suit, he would die forever. Yeah, but he clearly wasn't like... This is more just of an interpretation of it, I see.
Okay, I gotta say this is a theory that weirdly diverges from the general consensus about what happened. Maybe because this guy included the books and they are not canon.
Okay. So basically take everything from this point with just a large portion of salt. Fair enough.
Experiments. He learned the truth behind the Funtime animatronics and how they were actually designed to kidnap kids. And he learned through the voice of Baby exactly how his sister died.
A little girl, standing by herself. My stomach opened, and there was ice cream. I couldn't move. At least, Not until she stepped closer.
But as the week went on, Baby was conducting a plan of her own, a plan to escape the bunker using Michael's body. Elizabeth was no longer the person Michael remembered her as. She was entirely devoted to her father and would do anything to make him proud of her. At the end of the week, all of the Funtime animatronics endos were scooped out, with all of them combining into one animatronic called Ennard. This creature, containing the spirits of the missing kids and Elizabeth, knew they wouldn't be able to escape the bunker looking like an animatronic. They needed a human body to walk around in.
So Ennard is the combination of all the other melted down
You are in the
animatronics?
sleeping room now.
I think.
Funtime Foxy
No, that can't be,
has
'cause that's-
already been here today.
How yes? I thought it was melted down and turned into Remnant. How is it Remnant but also a solid thing? Oh, all the Fun Times ones, and then the other ones were the original. Okay, yeah, sorry. Okay.
Funtime Freddy has already been here today. Melora has already been here today. Circus Baby has already been here today. I've been out before, but they always put me back. They always put us back inside. There's nowhere for us to hide here. There is nowhere to go when we look like this. But if we looked like you, then we could hide. If we looked like you, then we would have somewhere to go. The scooper only hurts for a moment.
Michael Afton's insides got scooped out and replaced by Ennard, helping all of the souls to escape the facility. With every passing day after this happened, Michael looked more and more like a walking zombie. His skin was starting to turn purple, and people started to notice. Michael's body was no longer a good disguise for Ennard, so Ennard ejected itself from Michael. But because the scooper was also a remnant injector, when Michael Afton was scooped, he was also injected with Remnant. The Remnant made it so even after Ennard was gone, he was still able to survive. With Michael now back in full control of his body, he had a new mission.
What?
Although he did, one way or another, successfully free his sister from the underground facility, he also learned about all of his father's terrible misdeeds. His loyalty to his father turned to disgust. It was time.
I like how we just spent 5 seconds on that part. That entire what the fuck are you talking about part. Anyway, let's just keep going. Like,
for him to end all of this.
Father, it's me, Michael. I did it. I found it. It was right where you said it would be. They were all there. They didn't recognize me at first, but then they thought I was you. And I found her. I put her back together, just like you asked me to. She's free now. But something is wrong with me. I should be dead, but I'm not. I've been living in shadows. There is only one thing left for me to do now. I'm going to come find you.
yeah, I figured this isn't game mode.
I'm going to come find you.
Michael would spend years searching for his father with no luck, until a new ad in the local newspaper caught his attention. Someone decided to open something called Fazbear's...
Wait, is Michael just walking around as a zombie? And people were just like, oh, it's a zombie, that's interesting. Or is he like hiding? Because if he's just walking down the street as a zombie, people are like, holy fuck, there's a zombie, we call the police. Like, what? Okay, he hides. Fine. All right.
Fright, the horror attraction. Local amusement park is getting ready to scare your socks off with a new attraction based on the unsolved mysteries of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Featuring actual relics from the decades-old pizzeria, this new attraction is guaranteed to bring back your childhood in the worst possible way. As if using the crimes of his father to make a profit wasn't bad enough, they also went back to the old pizzerias and collected any objects they could find to put on display at the attraction. Michael immediately applied for the job of the security guard with the sole intention of burning the place to the ground. When he
How do you apply for a job when you're a purple zombie? How would you pass the interview? What? He's got like a Mr. Potato Head mask on. Like, what the fuck? I'm so confused. Is this not a giant plot hole? Okay.
He saw the remnants of his past, the shells of all of the animatronics, missing every single one of their endoskeletons. He knew they could only find the shells of the animatronics because he and his father stole their endoskeletons all those years ago, leaving only the shells behind. On day 2 of working at the
goddamn DEI hire filling the zombie quota.
He got word that they found a real animatronic.
You're not gonna believe this. We found one. A real one.
This real animatronic ended up being his father, still inside the Spring Bonnie suit he died in decades ago. Even though his father was now in the building with him, he still decided to go through on his plan, all in an effort to end his father once and for all. Michael then rigged the wiring in the building to catch fire, burning the horror attraction to the ground with his father inside.
Wait. Who? Okay, so they reopened this, but more as like a museum to the past horrors of it, not literally trying to reopen it again. And also, who did this? Who was in charge of setting this back up again? We don't know. Just some guy. Just William Afton with an evil mustache. Okay.
The local newspaper would write about the fire, saying a new local attraction based on an ancient pizzeria chain burned down overnight. Authorities have not ruled out foul play, but at the moment it seems to have been caused by faulty wiring. Although the fire destroyed most of everything in the building, William, miraculously, was able to survive. William was now free, roaming the outside world along with the souls of the missing children, Elizabeth, and Charlie inside the puppet. Since Michael wasn't able to end everything, someone else...
He escaped as Springtrap? Just literally an animatronic walking down the street? Thank you, Blue Boy. Yes. Okay.
Needed to step in. That someone was Henry Emily. Afton's old business partner and father of Charlie heard about the fire at Fazbear's Fright, along with the rumors of the various animatronic creatures now roaming them all to the
Wait, is this what he looks like after surviving the fire or something? It was fucked up. God damn.
ground for good, effectively freeing their spirits in the process. In order to do this, Henry created a new restaurant called Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place. He knew that the spirits and William couldn't resist coming back to a new location, even if it was all just a trap. Charlie was different though. She was smarter than the rest, so Henry knew
Why? Why, if Henry makes a new Freddy Fazbear's, why would the spirits come back? What is binding them to that place? Because it seems like all they want to do is get the fuck out. Familiarity? But then why did the I forget, the baby one, she said she wanted to leave, and then she used Michael's body to basically escape. Don't they kind of want to get the fuck out of there? That was another place? Sure, but why would they not follow the same kind of... Do you want to leave Afton's basement? I guess. I guess they might have had a more positive memory at the real pizza place instead of his experiment shit. Okay, fair enough.
She wouldn't be as easily fooled. So he created an animatronic called Lefty, standing for Lure, Encapsulate, Fuse, Transport, and Extract, specifically to capture the puppet and bring it to the pizzeria. While trying to find someone that would help him carry out his plan, one person showed up for the job. A person who was also determined to finally end
zombie
all
Michael.
of this. Michael Afton. Day after day, the animatronics roaming the streets would show up in the alleyway next to the pizzeria. Baby, aka Elizabeth, the souls of the missing children and the crying child, now appearing as Molten Freddy, Charlie and Lefty, and his father, William, all showed up in the back alley. Michael would then collect each animatronic and throw them into a facility under the pizzeria, designed to be a maze with no exit, where the animatronics would roam around without even knowing they're trapped, until the end of the week, where they would all be burned to the ground. With all of the souls, including William himself, now in one place, Henry's plan was in motion. As far as Elizabeth and William were concerned, this was a good thing. All of this remnant now in one place was all that they wanted, until Henry stepped in.
You played right into our hands. Did you really think that this job just fell out of the sky for you? No. This was a gift for us. You gathered them all together in one place, just like he asked you to. All of those little souls in one place, just for us. A gift. Now we can do what we were created to do and be complete. I will make you proud, Daddy. Watch, listen, and be full.
Connection terminated. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Elizabeth, if you still even remember that name, but I'm afraid you've been misinformed. You are not here to receive a gift, nor have you been called here by the individual you assume, although you have indeed been called.
God.
You have all been called here, into a labyrinth of sounds and smells, misdirection, and misfortune. A labyrinth with no exit, a maze with no prize. You don't even realize that you are trapped. Your lust for blood has driven you in endless circles, chasing the cries of children in some unseen chamber, always seeming so near, yet somehow out of reach. But you will never find them. None of you will. This is where your story ends. And to you, my brave volunteer, who somehow found this job listing not intended for you. Although there was a way out planned for you, I have a feeling that's not what you want. I have a feeling that you are right where you want to be. I am remaining as well. I am nearby. This place will not be remembered, and the memory of everything that started this can finally begin to fade away, as the agony of every tragedy should. And to you...
This speech is cool as shit. So, this is Henry, and he's saying that he is killing all of the animatronics, fair, to, like, close what he started, or had a hand in starting. He's killing, I assume, the player character who was playing the game that this is from. And he's also killing himself for some reason? Is there a particular reason he's killing himself? Or is it, like, guilt? Or is he just fucking bored? Or... Oh, Michael is the player. Oh, okay. Makes sense. Because he's a wreck after his daughter. Okay, so it's kind of just like... Okay, thank you.
You monsters trapped in the corridors, be still, and give up your spirits. They don't belong to you. For most of you, I believe there is peace, and perhaps more, waiting for you after the smoke clears. Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole. So don't keep the devil waiting, old friend. My daughter, if you can hear me, I knew you would return as well. It's in your nature to protect the innocent. I'm sorry that on that day, the day you were shut out and left to die, no one was there to lift you up into their arms, the way you lifted others into yours. And then, what became of you? I should have known you wouldn't be content to disappear. Not my daughter. I couldn't save you then, so let me save you now. It's time to rest, for you, and for those you have carried in your arms. This ends, for all of us, in communication.
Damn.
Henry putting fire to the animatronics may have freed the spirits from the metal of the robots, but some of them still needed help actually moving on into the afterlife. This help would come from Charlie. She helped guide the spirits into the robots. Now she would help them move on. In the world of Five Nights at Freddy's, the way a spirit can move on is by them being put into a happy memory. The memory Charlie chose actually comes from the crying child and the day he got bit. Piece by piece, Charlie put that terrible, shattered memory back together. But this time, she would change it into a happy memory. Instead of the crying child getting bit on his birthday, Charlie changed it so that all of the missing kids and Charlie would celebrate him, giving him a giant birthday cake. By changing that terrible memory into a happy one and attaching all of the spirits to it, they were able to successfully pass into the afterlife.
The end and no more games. This is headcanon? Yeah, I figured. That's fine. That's still cool. Arial font tombstones.
Like I said, they were all able to move on. Except for one.
Fucking Kratos? Is he going to hell? God damn it. Wait. No. I watched him get crushed. Why is he uncrushed again? What happened? Did he just like, just go and just boop? It was metaphorical.
Cassidy, the most vengeful spirit of them all, wasn't done yet. He decided to attach his soul to Williams, making sure that William was unable to move on. By attaching his spirit to Williams, he was able to...
Oh, that's because... Wait, no. Wait, I'm so confused. Which one was the dual soul again? There were two souls in Fredbear. But then they were melted down and... But he's Springtrap. Sure, I understand that, but why are there two in Springtrap? Because they all melted together. Cassidy snatched William's soul and dragged him into it. There's not two. Oh, then why did they just say that? The kid can just do that externally? How the fuck? Okay. Okay. I'll just roll with it.
Trap Afton in an endless loop of death. He made Afton relive every one of his terrible misdeeds. The fear experiments, his underground bunker, and the pizzeria where Cassidy was killed. Afton experienced all of this while being attacked and killed over and over again by all of the animatronics.
Wait, do you play as William Afton in one of the games, getting tortured over and over again? Which game is that? That's actually pretty funny. Ultimate Custom Night. What a name.
Past. Every time an animatronic would attack him, Cassidy would be there, reminding him that the suffering will never end.
We've only just begun. I will never let you leave. I will never let you rest.
The classic woman doing a child voice.
He tried to release us, but I'm not gonna let that happen. I will hold you here. I will keep you here, no matter how many times they burn us.
Cassidy knew that Afton didn't deserve the afterlife. He deserved to pay for what he's done for all of eternity. But If you keep up with the franchise, you know that that's not the end of the story. Like I said at the beginning of the video, making a FNAF timeline is not easy, no matter what anyone says. In broad strokes, you can explain the basic plot, but once you get down to the motivations and the why of everything, you have to start filling in the blanks yourself. Some people who've helped me fill in the blanks that I'd like to shout out are Right Host for his theory about Cassidy being spring-locked in Golden Freddy. I think that makes a lot of sense and is really satisfying.
What a phrase, Cassidy being spring-locked into Golden Freddy. I'm so ashamed that I understand what he just said.
Also, I'd like to shout out MatPat for his theory about Midnight Motorist. After trying to figure that minigame out for years, I think your explanation makes the most sense. It's important for me to say that no one, except for Scott Cawthon himself, knows the exact story he was trying to tell. So please make sure to watch other people's timelines as well, and come to your own conclusion on everything. And when the time is right, I'll be back to tackle the newer games in this franchise. Until then, make sure to subscribe, and thanks for watching.
That was a great video. Very, very, very well edited. Possibly some creative liberties, but if it's all, you know, not all, but if it's a lot of headcanon stuff, you have to take creative liberties, right? Okay. Now here's the real kicker. Can I summarize what I just heard over the past hour? Oh, Christ. You know what? The thing that trips me up the most about this story is how the fuck does Michael Zombie keep getting jobs? There's so many unemployed, educated people in America that can't get jobs. How the fuck is a literal zombie? Does he keep getting jobs, man? How does he keep getting work? He's a zombie. He doesn't even look like a living human being. You'd think the guy doing the application would be like, oh, this man is undead. Perhaps we shouldn't hire him. I guess I would have to, like, actually see what he looks like. You know what I mean? Thank you, Frankendoodle. Appreciate the 100 months, man. Thank you. Yeah, is he just like...
I did it. It's been great, John. I shall now cease doing his purpose fulfilled in
is he just like a literal Walking Dead zombie with, like, things falling off of him? Or does he just look like a really tired dude? Like a tired, sick dude. He's purple? Okay, then yeah, I don't know what the fuck these employers are doing. That's just insane. I would not hire a purple person. Call me racist. I would think less of a purple person. I'd be very worried about them. So Jermic, thank you for the 32, and Sneak, thank you for the 28. I am racist against purple people, yes. Fuck Barney. Okay, so overall plot. William Afton and Henry... I don't remember if he had a last name or not.
Mitchell is an actual walking corpse, lacking a skeleton since it was scooped out.
Yeah, then I don't get it. So Henry and William make a pizzeria. They have some pretty crazy technology, which Henry is mostly responsible for, from what I can understand. Henry is the one that made the spring suit or whatever, like where you can have a person in there. William Afton...
guess Mitchell doesn't look much different from average fence user.
William was more in charge of, like, the business and shit. Then the whole thing with Michael happens. Crying child gets eaten. Or he gets bit, which kills him. That eventually results in the spirit inhabiting William Afton. I forget, did William Afton notice the spirit inhabiting from the security bot? Or from the initial bite? This is the first part I'm not sure on. Like, when did he realize that, hey, there might be spirits and shit involved here? It was the security one with the purple, with the purple mascara shit going down his eyes. Okay. So from then, he was like, oh, hey, perhaps I can play God and, like, kind of try to harness this power of spirits inhabiting man-made things. So then he starts luring a bunch of kids, tries to recreate it to get that same thing to happen again. He's got this crazy underground Resident Evil 2 lab shit going on. And some shit happens. You know, and then the purple guy gets a job. All right, yeah, I think I got it. I think I got the full picture. I think I got everything now. I would consider myself a lore expert in Five Nights at Freddy's. I was doing so good. I know. Okay, so Springtrap all
The
this was
reason
to
that
learn.
Joe is able to get jobs post swooping room is because the employers for these locations are desperate since no one else wants to work there. And they
Sure.
probably don't ever even meet Mitchell face to face.
Sure, I can understand desperation to hire for a job, but not for a zombie. Like, they probably don't ever meet face to face. How the fuck would that meet him face to face? What? God. There's a second half of the series. There's just more. I just can't wrap my head around how they keep closing down and opening new locations. Like, who is funding this? It has such a bad reputation. How does it keep getting opened again? It's like McDonald's. Yeah, but if there were reports of kids dying at McDonald's, they'd be shutting down McDonald's. Like, not just a fast food chain. This shit is happening there. Ugh, my God. Okay, so the whole thing was I wanted to learn this for DBD. All I need to know from this is Springtrap is William Afton's soul inside that body because he either killed himself on purpose or accidentally killed himself in his machine. Apparently it's not 100% sure, but he's in there and he likes, I don't know, I guess having no Terradius.
Matt Pat funds the company.
Matt Pat funds the company. Okay. Yeah, his body's inside the suit. I get it. And it's cool because in DBD, you can literally see, like, his corpse. I get it now. Like, so you can see his corpse inside the spring. What was the system called? Spring something? Spring lock. Spring lock. Thank you. So yeah, you can, like, see him in, like, that spring lock system, which is really neat. Is that what it looks like? In, like, when people go inside the spring lock, like, mechanic, like, you know, for the original animatronics, is that what it looks like? Because that looks fucking horrifying. Like, that's a terrible idea. Normally they don't die, sure, I get that. Yeah, well, I understand without the corpse, sure. Okay, so you could still see the human being in the suit then, because it's like, it's see-through almost, like there's... It's not like a solid metal suit that goes around them. You can just see the person inside of it. Okay, which is kind of weird. It's worse because the suit is destroyed. Yeah, but there's still gaps. Like, you could still see the person. Okay. Since this video's older, this video's not that old. It's like 2 months old. We can tell from the DBD lore paragraph that he did not mean to die from it. Well, that's the thing. Dead by Daylight stuff, when it takes licenses, is usually not canon. So are you basing it off of that? Like the entity just said, oops, he died, lol, yoink. I guess everything at this point is we're just assuming so. Scott approved it? Fair, I guess. At that point, then it means it probably is closer to canon. Game implies it was an accident. I still don't understand that part. So the spirits of the kids were basically going after William Afton, who had no problem dismantling them before, but now for some reason he went inside the suit. I still don't understand why he went inside the suit. He was trying to scare them off. Why would they be scared off by animatronics that are just like themselves? He goes in and tries to scare them? I guess. That seems weird. It's the suit he killed them in? True, true. I guess you have to, like, start analyzing what your fear level as a spirit would be. Would you still be scared of the same things if you were, like, a spirit?
Because the suit is what he used to kill them.
Yeah, right. Are the animatronics with the kid spirits inside of it, are they self-aware? Like, do they know that there's kid spirits in a suit? Or do they still think they're just children running around? I feel like they never actually, like, touched on that. I don't know what... It's not explicitly clear.
Maybe you should watch some in-game cutscenes. Often Scooby-Doo runs to spring suit.
I think I'm all lured out right now. and act more like rabid animals. Yeah, but they were following like a set pattern. I wouldn't say they were like rabid animals. If anything, they were very
In the movie,
programmed
when
almost.
William loses control over them, he starts shouting at them. That's all, so you can read it as when William loses control, he doesn't think correctly. Huh?
Oh, I didn't even think about the movie. Is the movie canon?
Let me in.
The movie's not canon. Okay, that's just its own thing. Gotcha. The fucking the let me ins. Fucking Bonnie's just face camping me outside. That made my experience so much better. By the way, so thank you for that. The movie's dog shit. Unlucky. I heard some people liked it. Oh man. Okay, so at least I have a pretty good baseline understanding of why Springtrap and DBD is actually kind of cool now. And I think I'm okay with that. I think I'm okay with my level of understanding the lore for now. Because holy shit, that was some stuff to take in, man. That was... Oh my god. That was a lot of stuff. Like, the first half of it, I was like, okay, I'm on board. That's a little weird. That's a stretch. I'm okay. And then they were like, and then they melted them down into liquid mercury known as remnant and injected it into other... And I'm just like, oh, Jesus, what is happening? We're actually starting to get into Metal Gear Solid levels of convolution. Actually straight up nanomachine, son. New game of the series comes out Friday as well. God bless them. It's too much. It's too much for me.
Did you get to see bunnies?
I'll watch people play it. The story was confirmed to change like 4 times during the course of the game, so it's very messy. Okay, so it sounds like Scott made a game as a last-ditch effort as a game developer, had some basic lore behind it, was like, fuck it, ship it live. He released it, it spread like wildfire, and then he was like, oh, yes, actually, all these things are happening. So he just retroactively added a bunch of shit, which is fine, by the way. That's completely okay. Like, there's no shame in that whatsoever. But it also... When stories are written with a pre-planned beginning, middle, and end, they typically are always just better. Not to say that you can't have a good story if you just kind of wing it, but I don't know. I feel like the best example of starting incredible but not knowing if you're going to like end it in a full way was the show Lost, which started like amazing and everything was like perfect, and then it ended like, I don't know what the fuck we're doing anymore. So, and then there's shows like Mr. Robot, which was written with beginning, middle, and end, and it ends amazing. Like so I definitely think it's better to write the whole thing, but it's also understandable. He wasn't like a AAA game dev that had, you know, the time of day to do all this shit. So it's completely justifiable retroactively doing stuff. Henry's speech went hard as hell. Yeah, that was sick. That whole speech was awesome. His voice actor was great there too. I didn't get the real experience of the games coupled with a very good presentation. Oh no, I'm sure. I had no intention of playing all the games. There's a lot of them. I had no intention of doing that. So.
Didn't mention how Efton transfers his conscience into programming code so he can pass his people and live on.
Wait, William Afton transfers his consciousness into programming code? What?
Scott was planning on stopping after FNAF Ultimate Custom Night, Efton in hell being tortured, then Steelwood took over after they forgave her.
Okay, so now we're we're getting into like Soma shit? Where you're like transferring... Jesus Christ. Watch Dako beating 50-20 mode in Unk. Oh, in Ultimate Custom. I read that as Unk. I was like, I don't think I want to watch that. What's it called? Fuck it. I'll say 50-20 UCN. 50/20 UCN. I don't know what that means. It's 5 minutes. Oh shit, I'll watch that. Okay. Wait, who do I watch? Do I watch Dako or Beef Jerkins 21? I kind of want to watch Beef Jerkins 21. I think that name is kind of better. Fine, I'll watch Dako. Poor Beef Jerkins. Can't say this.
My palms are sweaty from Mum's spaghetti. I don't know why.
Oh my god, it reminds me of Ollie, and I'm just upset immediately.
I want to tell you something.
Okay, why'd you guys tell me to watch this?
What?
I don't know what the fuck is happening, dude. This is literally Zoomer, like, ADHD fucking Subway Surfer shit. I don't know what's happening. Add Family Guy to a corner? What the fuck is that? Okay, now I'm invested because this is so ADD that I'm like...
For depositing 5 coins.
This looks edited. This looks like someone's making a shit post. This is William Afton's hell. I get that. You know what? Shit, maybe that's actually lore accurate. This is hell. This actually is just straight up hell. God damn. William Afton getting who deserves. Yeah, no, I get it. This is definitely hell. I feel like I'm in hell right now. Is this an officially supported game, or is this just like a fan thing? It is officially supported. Oh my god.
Let me in. Let me in.
They're already in, dude. There's like 7 dudes in here. Okay, does putting on the mask do something? Is that the equivalent of closing the door or something like that? Okay. I'm kind of beginning to slightly understand things. There are no doors to the mask. You stop for them. Okay.
Please deposit 5 coins. Thank you for depositing 5 coins.
What is even the point? Just to last one night with all this shit happening?
For about an hour and a half.
What is that literal fucking TikTok edit with the
Message.
This is not the normal gameplay experience. I don't believe you. I choose to believe this is how the game is played as normal. This was my first playthrough. What the fuck is this? This is a cupcake. Oh, you can manually enable all of them at once. Hey, there's a door there. You know, I completely understand this dude not saying anything on stream. Because... how would you? How would you not devote all of your life to this? How could you ever... How can you commentate over this? Game is free, go play it. I am not playing this.
Please thank you for depositing 5 coins.
There's 0 chance of playing this.
Today is all about me.
I'm gonna turn my volume down to 430. Thank you. Oh, that's it?
Oh my god!
How long was this dude trying this? That is the reaction of someone that has been suffering for a long time trying to do this. Weeks? Okay, that's fair. That, like, people, like, making fun of him. No. You guys don't realize, like, when you've been trying to do something for weeks long, that is the correct human reaction. That is completely not embarrassing. That is absolutely normal. This is completely fine. What the hell's the rest of this video, then? Oh, just him fucking calming down, I guess. He was the world first to do it. Scott didn't think it was possible. Damn. Hold on. Let's see beef jerkies. Or beef jerkin? Beef jerkins. Let's see. This is my goat right here. I've never even seen that screen before. Is this real? It literally just has this shitty edits like in a... What is this game? I feel like I'm gonna have a seizure watching this shit, dude. Hey, is that Foxy? Is she still chilling on her?
Are you ready for my close-up?
Foxy's mechanics are changing this, I see. When it says a new challenger has appeared, does that mean there's a new animatronic coming to fuck him up or something? How many gift subs for me to play it? You don't have enough money. You can't. So that animation's gonna happen 50 times then, right? Okay, if you give me 1,500 subs, I'll play it. I have $3. Close enough. This version is done with stalling too. Modern version makes his ADHD. What do I search in order to find the most ADHD version possible of this? What would I put into YouTube for that? Hopeless Pursuit. Okay. I typed the letter H and it just said Hopeless Pursuit. Holy fuck.
Always come back.
Let's see. Some guy. Click the first one I say. Oh, I'm getting dizzy.
This is getting intense.
Please deposit 5 coins. Please deposit 5 coins. Please deposit 5 coins. Please deposit 5 coins. Please deposit 5 coins.
Again?
Deposit 5 coins.
Let me out.
5 coins.
For real, let me out.
5 coins. Please deposit 5 coins. Please deposit 5 coins. Please deposit 5 coins.
What's this? I love this part.
For depositing 5 coins. Please deposit 5
Let me out,
coins.
please.
Please deposit 5 coins.
You know what this is? You know that moment when you're looking at porn when you were a kid and your parents are coming down the hallway and they're about to open the door and see you on the computer and you just start spam clicking a bunch of shit to like make sure they don't see anything? This is that, but replicated 50,000 times in a row. It's that
such
level
a
of just
typical
like
anime jump scare here.
that level of stress and panic and spamming just shit everywhere. Just like, yeah, you know, I'm doing something. I'm doing something. I feel like I literally couldn't fake this if I wanted to. If I had all these things on my screen, I actually couldn't pretend to be doing something better than this guy is actually doing things. Like, this is actually someone playing and making calculated decisions. If I was just randomly clicking buttons, I couldn't make it look this random. That's how ridiculous this is.
Deposit 5 coins.
The fucking deadpan text to speech. What is with the random baby, like, erotica? Like, whatever. Okay. I'm now going to attempt to understand the game slowly. What is the inverted, I believe, was that Freddy? I can't tell. What is the inverted Fredbear? What do you do when that happens? Step 1 to understanding this game.
Thank you for depositing 5 coins.
You deposit 5 coins. Shut up. Here. We're going to understand the mechanics as it happens. What do I do for the red balloon? You flashlight the phantom. What do I do for the red balloon? You ignore it. Just a distraction.
Ready for my countdown.
This inverted one. What do you do for this? It's just another distraction? Flashlight? Distraction? You have to flash him before he does that. Okay. What are these fuckers? What is this overlay? Kind of security bot looking things, but not quite. They just block your vision. That's all they do. They just get in the way. What is this? What are these pin-up pictures? Is this just more annoying shit in the way? For Chica? Just distraction. Okay. What is that? Press C to catch. I have paused every half a second, and there's been a mechanic every half a second. Is that like a quick time event? You have to press C at the right time? Okay. I get up. Oh my god, I just noticed he's pressing keys. You're right, Pix. I just noticed. There's more shit going on here, too. Finally, he gave him the fucking coins. He wants more coins.
Thank you for depositing 5 coins. Please deposit 5 coins. Please deposit 5 coins. Please deposit 5 coins. Thank you for depositing 5 coins. Please deposit 5 coins. Please deposit 5 coins. Please deposit 5 coins. Please deposit 5 coins. Thank you. Please deposit 5 coins. Please deposit 5 coins. Please deposit 5 coins. Please deposit 5 coins. Please deposit 5. Thank you for depositing 5 coins. Please deposit 5 coins. Please deposit.
Just the sheer comedic timing of thank you for depositing 5 coins.
Died on night 1.
Just the sheer comedic timing of please deposit 5 coins. Or no, thank you for...
Please deposit 5 coins.
It just immediately restarts 1 millisecond later. It's
5 coins.
It's thank you for depositing 5 coins. Please deposit 5 coins.
Please deposit. Thank you for depositing 5 coins. Please deposit 5 coins.
I'm sorry, that's the funniest thing about this. Just the immediate please deposit after the thank you. How it feels to sub to a streamer. Yeah, what is this dude's APM right now? Dude's fucking rivaling Cyril playing StarCraft. Like, what? Did my YouTube just crash? It literally crashed my YouTube. It's not even like playing anymore, despite it saying it's playing. The video of it happening crashed. I need you guys to appreciate that. The video of the game, not even the game, the video of someone playing the game crashed. That is fucking incredible. I can't, there's no process.
Deposits 5 coins forever, my son.
I actually, my Firefox is completely broken.
I'm gonna need more coins to fix this.
I didn't deposit 5 coins. Yes, okay. Holy shit. Okay. Well, I think I'm gonna go.